Hello, everyone, and welcome to the weekly dev stream. My goodness,
Howdy, partners. Howdy, partners. Sorry. Vamonos, exactly. Yeah. How's it going, chat?
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Wait.
Feels like morning.
What time is it?
Morning is,
yeah.
It's a mindset, actually. It's always morning
it's always
somewhere.
morning somewhere.
Exactly.
I feel a bit blown out.
You bloated? Oh, blown out? Yeah, right. Yeah, a little bit. Overexposed, yeah. Oh, snoot exposed, overexposed on stream, live on Twitch.
Okay. Just confirm that I look fat. That's what he said. I swear, I just ate something weird today.
Is it like bready stuff? Does that like make people bloated sometimes?
All right. I don't know. I feel like when I feel bloated, it's when I've had like something with lactose. And then, because I'm lactose intolerant, and then shortly after, I am stuck on the toilet.
Just stuck there. You need to call the fire department to get you free, huh?
Pretty much. It creates like a suction through the toilet.
Yeah, I hate it when that happens.
We've all been there,
really
right?
Yeah. Anyway,
we've all been there. Yes. Has Twitch always had captions? So Twitch have always had captions. We've had captions for on this thing, the stream, for a long time. Sometimes it's broken because I'm an ass.
Yeah, that's
just
why.
Mess it up. But it's been there for a while, so it's been available. You just need to know that it's there. That's the Toilet Flush DLC, yeah, exactly. Anyway.
Oh.
Captions, you mean subs.
Physical in the chat saying that they listened to Linkin Park, Hard Theory, and Meteor yesterday. Man of Culture. Yes, Linkin Park, let's go. My favorite band. That's a Toilet Flush DLC teaser. Yeah, I know, right? When is that DLC coming? That's what I need to know.
Right? Soon.
Soon. Brain is here. Hello.
Yes.
Welcome. Okay. Shall we roll the ball, as they say?
Let's do it. Yeah, this week we're going to be talking about, it's going to be a regular little stream, but there's going to be a special message at the end. So do make sure to check that out if you can. And if you can't be, then check out the VOD, I guess, etc., etc. So we're going to jump straight into State of Dev.
Let's do it.
If I can find the...
There it is.
The little thing. There it is.
I can see your little thing on the other monitor. So
you know what I'm talking about.
That's not going out to stream, is it?
You know what I'm talking about.
Okay,
good. No. Well, it'd be a weird stream if it did. Just my desktop and that's it. All right. Anyways, State of Dev, what's going on? Well, we're working on the game. Game is getting more stable. Bye, Dylan.
Bye.
See,
say bye to
Dylan, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah, the game is getting more and more stable. We've been playtesting it a bit. We're gonna keep playtesting it every end of the week from now on. To spot stuff. Obviously, we also have like Q&A working on it, but it's also nice for us to also have like hands down everyone playing it and testing it out. And I mean, we're still finding random stuff, and as we're fixing one thing, we break another, and that's sort of how it is. But we are getting closer and closer to something we feel like is acceptable to release, at least for experimental. And if you missed last week's stream, and I believe you also mentioned it in last week's YouTube video. Shit, I forgot to add that to the thing. We need to talk about the YouTube video.
Add that. So what is the thing that I mentioned in the video?
That's next week. Sorry, not next week. Jeez. Almost,
yeah.
It's like a weird Freudian slip, but it's not actually a Freudian slip. We're aiming to release the updates sometime in June is our internal sort of goal right now. Yes. Don't know exactly when. We don't have a public date to commit to.
Entirely possible that it's after June as well. So we never know. Just keep you guys informed
as well. Yeah, but that's the goal at least. And I guess it is June next week. So I guess technically, but it's not gonna happen next week. I'm pretty sure.
Can confirm it won't be next week.
So I guess that's. Yeah. So that's pretty much the state of things right now, is that we are still working on fixing it up and, finding all those pesky bugs that were both introduced when we were changing things for update 8, but also there's a lot of bugs that came with the engine upgrade. I think the majority of issues that we've had are because of the engine upgrade. Yeah, just ironing those things out and making sure that the game is going to be good. Essentially.
And one thing to I think maybe is just good to keep in mind as well. As with all the updates, whenever we release the experimental, they've not been perfect because they're experimental, and that part of that is that we want you guys to test, and then we'll do more bug fixes beyond that. So it'll probably still be the same here, even though that we're taking extra time to work on this. But like the extra time that we're taking is to make sure we can get it to that level where it's like it should work decently well for the overwhelming majority of people, and then we can start taking bug reports and doing fixes from there. So just remember, experimental is still going to be experimental, but yeah.
Yeah. And I guess also worth repeating is that this time around, because of timing of things, we probably will release, hopefully, if we can do it within our time frame, releasing the update on experimental. And then we're going to be spending some time fixing things up as much as we can, fixing the most, the biggest issues, mostly, crashes and all that stuff. And then unfortunately, we have our vacation period. I guess I say unfortunate for you guys. It's somewhat unfortunate for us because it's nice to have summer break, which means that this experimental period will be a bit longer than usual. It might also need to be longer because there might be a lot of stuff that we didn't catch because of the switches to Unreal Engine 5 and all that stuff. And this is a pretty big, tech-wise, this is a huge update for us. So there might be a lot of bugs that we haven't caught yet. So experimental period for this update might be a bit longer. Oh, I mean, it will be longer than previous experimental phases, but we did have something similar with update 6 where we were launched on experimental before vacation, and then we took a vacation and then we got back to it. And it's probably going to be something similar to this if we manage to release.
You're always on holidays, Jace, exactly, right? Otherwise, how else would I be filming from home?
Yeah, well,
right? Must be on vacation.
It's true.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm always on vacation.
That's
I'm on a beach right now.
But yeah, it is a common thing. It is certainly inefficient and a bummer that this sort of happens, right? I suppose in terms of production of the game, but it's also that's just kind of how things are here in Sweden too. It's very common that in Sweden people get 25 days of vacation, 5 weeks, which is more than a lot of places in the world. I think there's also a right here in Sweden that during the summer you're allowed to take up to 4 weeks guaranteed or something like that if you want from work or something like that. So that's just how things are in Sweden, right? So and I think it's a really good thing personally. It's just kind of ingrained into the culture here. So that's just how we do things.
It also makes sense for Coffee Stain to try and have everyone take vacation at the same time, because otherwise, if people take vacation here and there, the progress development-wise might be a bit slow because people might be expecting other people to if they need someone.
Then we have a skeleton crew for a long time, which is kind of a bummer. A lot of people saying 30 days in Germany and same in Finland and Norway too. Yeah, a lot of countries have it, but a lot of countries don't have it. So, but it's just how it is here.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
So just so you guys are aware, there's always a bit of when this period happens, there's always a bunch of people being confused, why I wasn't seeing anything happen, what's going on? I haven't seen anything. It's because we're on vacation, and that's how it is sometimes. Cool. One thing we also mentioned, we're going to mention this at the end of the stream too, is that next week is actually a public holiday in Sweden. So it's our national holiday, or the Swedish National Day, whatever. Which means that it's a off day, so we won't be streaming next week. Potentially,
there might be something, but if there's nothing, then you know why there's nothing. It's because there's the vacation, the holiday.
Yeah, exactly. All right. One last thing I want to talk about before we jump into talking about the YouTube video that we dropped last week is that specifically on the YouTube channel, there's been a little bit of it's a little bit of proof that we finally made it, Jace.
We did.
There's a spam account that's saying, oh, you won something, contact us, and it says Coffee Stain or whatever. It's not us. It's a scam. Some people have reached out to us pointing this out, and we keep banning spam accounts, but they keep coming back. But we have like stuff in the back end running to keep banning them, so we can detect it. So hopefully no one's been scammed, but just want people to be aware that this is happening, so you don't fall for it, because it's not us. We don't. If we do the only time we do prizes, we would announce it on our own channel. We wouldn't make a separate one, and it would be like here on stream or on Twitter. That's the only times we've done anything like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And
we're hunting them down. If you ever do see any more of these comments, feel free to DM us on on the Satisfactory account on Twitter, or DM us even on Discord. It's really important that we try and take care of these things, because I've had some DMs from some people who they were excited, and then kind of bummed when they found out that it wasn't real, but also that they were kind of close to maybe giving up their information. So even if it's not a reply to one of your comments, if you just see it anywhere, it'd be good if you could just link us the comment, or at least the video, and let us know immediately, so we can address it as soon as possible, because we don't want anyone getting screwed over.
Yep. And it's probably better you reach out to us rather than try and react to them, because when you react to them, they also realize that it's working. So you don't want to just report the account or whatever, and then that's it.
Speaking of almost made it, by the way, I just something else that has popped up recently, the video. This video here, guys, 6 things we're never adding to Satisfactory, got another little bump recently. Now we're at 994,000 views on that video. I've never made a video that had 1 million views before, and we're 6K away. So speaking of, we've almost made it.
Let's watch it right now.
Over and over. If anyone wants to go there, watch it, like it, leave a comment or something, that'll help a lot. But whenever I bring this up, it's a little bit of a meme, but one thing I also want to just make sure is that it doesn't obviously matter that much. The fact of the matter is we have this community, and the numbers really don't matter too much. But it's just a fun little thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just put it on loop every
ASMR.
night, and then that's how you. Yeah.
What happens if people fall asleep to me telling them that they're not going to get what they want? That might do bad things.
They're going to be indoctrinated. Yeah. It's going to wake up and be like, I have to implement base defense as a mod, Yeah, no golf. This is an outrage. I don't know why people become robots when they do sleep. There's a word for this, right? When you do sleep therapy thingy.
I think so.
Anyways,
I know what you're talking about. What's that called?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, maybe someone will say it.
Yeah. Anyways, there's something for that. Anyways, so let's talk about the YouTube video we launched last week. A pretty banger.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Thanks for the support, everyone. That one actually has popped off in the algorithm as well, actually, and got again more views, which is nice. Not necessary, but very nice.
But it's also showing how sometimes we take these things for granted, quality of life stuff. But sometimes people are really into that kind of stuff, and I also feel like there's a lot of stuff in the game where making small changes will have big impact. So adding a new machine or whatever is cool and all, and a new whole recipe chain and all that stuff, cool. But changing and improving how the build system works affects everyone, and bigger, small rivers lead to the ocean sort of thing. So super stoked about that. So let's quickly just go through the things that you mentioned in the video. So the first thing is parachutes are getting reworked. So parachutes would no longer be a consumable, right?
Yeah,
it'll be
exactly. You can just use the same parachute over and over now, which I think is very good. And then also it's got a little bit of a buff in terms of its flight speed and things like that as well, and how far you can glide. So hopefully we see more people using the parachute.
Yeah. Does it still deploy in the same way?
I didn't use the parachute before. So, but
because the parachute before was a little bit confusing. Sometimes we had it available and we wasn't sure when it would you press space or something. That's how I was doing it. Fall.
Is there another way to do it?
Okay. So no, I wasn't sure if we changed how deployment would work, if it's still the same way or not. Because I feel which makes it even better now that it's an equipment piece instead, because I feel before I would deploy it and then remove it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you'd consume one and then you'd need it again, and then you missed your opportunity. So if you only had like one left, you'd be like screwed, kind of.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's pretty nice. Another thing is continuous zipline. You know, ziplining was a thing before, but now it's like way smoother.
Yeah. So when you're you know, ziplining on like ceiling power mounts or even the power tower lines. Previously, you'd fall off and you could grab on if you look up, but now you just go straight through things, and you can also like look in what direction you want to go if there's like a junction of your power lines. So yeah, it just basically makes ziplining even easier. And again, where like these are the addition of power towers and the addition of this feature is buffing like heavily the zipline sprint mode, which we added in update 7, which I felt at that time was a little bit underwhelming because the use cases were small. But now that we have these use cases, they're much better. So
yeah, also haven't tried it out, but it looks super sweet. In the
yeah,
video.
you're really quick with this the
through
sprint as well.
Yeah, also makes it easier to hit like the terminal velocity with like the sprinting thing.
Yep. Absolutely. And there's also the right click toggle to zipline now. So previously you would have to click left mouse button and hold that down, but now you can just right click and then let go of the mouse, and you'll just like automatically zipline until you right click again or jump off. Which a nice little touch. Some people might like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know I do. And then we have conveyor belts, like the way you like deploy them, sort of. Both in terms of you no longer need to like build a pole first. If you select the conveyor belt, it will like automatically build the first pole for you.
And the same with pipes. Same with pipes
which
too,
is pretty nice.
Course,
Yep. Something that we've talked about doing for a long time, but never get around to. It makes sense to do it
Do I
that
remember
way.
correctly that, because like previously, right, before on Dragon Ball Z, previously on, so like on up to update 7, right, if you pull out a power line, there's a pole. Were there always poles? Or do I remember that you had to put the poles down?
There's always a pole on the second, like when you start.
Was that the
dragging
case
it,
from
right?
the very beginning,
always...
or? Oh, it was. Okay.
Yeah. But it's always the case where like, but you also need to start somewhere, and then you can start with just a conveyor belt being placed. So now now you can start with the conveyor belt, which saves like a little like some time with the clicking and stuff like that. It's like these small things that kind of add up, I feel like. And the other pretty big thing is you can now also like when you're placing the poles, one really annoying thing is if you have like stacked conveyor belts and you know that you want to like not stack conveyor belts, but if you know like you have something that you want to pull your conveyor belt over, it used to be like when you place the conveyor belt and drag it, you wouldn't be able to like stop it and raise the pole. You would need to place the pole in like soft clearance and then drag it up to the size. Whereas now it will clear at the correct, like when you. It's making any sense. I feel like I'm just rambling at this point.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I zoned out a little bit. You're talking about the two-step verification thing, the two-factor authentication.
Exactly. It's like the.
Yeah.
Yeah. It used to be that like when you were starting the placement of the conveyor belt, it would be checking like, are you allowed to place it? And then if you weren't, it would be like,
even if
no,
the final
stop,
result was going to be
what are you
valid, you couldn't start it because the first phase would.
Yeah, exactly.
So that change now means the validation check is done on the second click on the final build of the thing. So you can start builds with conveyor belts now that are invalid and then move them into a position that is valid. I think that's a really good tweak as well.
Yeah, it's something that I've always. I don't know why I haven't thought about it that way, because like it's annoying that I have to place the pole sometimes when I want to do special things. But I know the belt will work here. I don't know why I didn't think about that. Like, oh, what if we just do it so that the second placement is the actual test of like whether you can place it or not? Makes sense. Another thing is the dismantle filter, which is pretty cool. Something we've had before is we've had the dismantle filter somewhat before, but it wasn't really clear, and I don't know how many people actually knew about it, because we don't have like a indicator anywhere in the game, in the HUD for it. You just have to know that it's there, kind of. But now it's like an actual, like, it shows up, you press G, and when you do that, you select the filter for whatever you're dismantling. And another really cool thing with the addition to this is also that we have, like, you can stack filters sort of when you're mass dismantling. So you could set it to be like, filter first all the belts, and then filter all the splitters, and then you would just dismantle those things as you're selecting them. And it's like, if you didn't know about the filter, it's a way faster way to like dismantle like stuff you have put on foundations, because I always found that it was annoying when go like and click and specific pinpoint certain things. Makes it a lot easier to just wipe and just get rid of shit. And it just
I never used it before, but when I tried it out, it was a little confusing, but I think now it's a little better. But I did see that a lot of people were commenting and interesting. Oh, one moment. HelloFresh.
Oh, is that HelloFresh? Yo, we haven't had HelloFresh on stream.
Yeah,
like
for a while.
actually for a long time.
But yeah, well, here we are. Anyway, what was I saying? But yeah, a lot of people were giving some feedback about like the opposite of this filter, so that like what you could do is you could select what you don't want to select and then select everything else. So it's like the reverse functionality, which I think could be pretty useful. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's a great suggestion, and we'll just get that to the team, and then I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know what will happen with it, but yeah.
Just in the garbage.
I think it's a good suggestion.
Yeah, blacklist, whitelist. It would be nice to be able to like toggle or something like that. Yeah.
Put it on the QA site.
This is where we are right now. Okay, one thing I'm really excited to talk about actually is the first person trace adjustment thing here that we did. We since launch of the game, because I actually have a couple of stories about this. So since the launch of the game, the player, like we use a line trace essentially from the camera to like pinpoint like where you're aiming, right? And it's always been a little off. And it's based on the character model, not the camera actually, for some reason. And we've had so many meetings where we look at it and we're like, the camera trace is off, because sometimes when we add a new feature, we realize again, like, wait, the camera trace is off. It's not like exactly in the middle. And we always have a meeting where like, why is it off? And then we're like, I don't know, but maybe there's a reason why it's off. Like, we're always like, and then it becomes like a whole thing where like, maybe we shouldn't touch it because maybe there's a reason why it's off. Like maybe there's a reason why we put it on the character.
Sorry, that was my text. You're gone. Yep.
Yeah. Do you need to run?
Yeah, I'll go get it in a second.
And get it?
Yeah.
Okay. And we're always like, maybe we shouldn't touch it because maybe it'll break something. And we've done that. We've had that meeting like maybe 3 times while I was a programmer.
Wow. Back at the dawn of time.
so now we're just like, going for it.
But yeah, you guys,
because I think the person who like originally set it up, they've left Coffee since a long time ago. So it's always this thing where sometimes when you look in the code base and you see something that looks really, really dumb, oftentimes it's like there's probably a reason why it looks that way, because like, you know, all the programmers are intelligent people and nobody wants to write bad code. So like when you actually run into the cases where like, this is really strange, you often like don't go, oh, this is just bad code, I'm just gonna overwrite it. You often go like, there's probably a reason why it's this way, and I don't know why. And oftentimes
all the programmers are intelligent people now that we're community managers. Yeah, of course.
Of
course. But someone actually did give me an interesting bit of just a thing to think about here. Was like, well, one thing about it is the reticle for a lot of things is kind of solid and kind of big, and if you're trying to aim at something small, you might not be able to see it anymore because it will now disappear behind the reticle completely. And so I think that's an interesting thing to point out. We'll have to see if that actually becomes a problem or not. Maybe we need to like make changes to the reticle. Who knows? But yeah, just an interesting thing to think about, I think. I'm going to grab my food, right?
Because go for it. Because there's going to be a little bit of like getting adjusted to this, because it will feel different. It's like, especially if you play the game for many, many hours, you will notice this. I don't necessarily think it's like worse or better in any way. It's just like it's different. And I think like on paper, I think it feels nicer for us to know that like actually where you're aiming is where you're going. There's a couple of cases like when you're aiming at like, you know, when you're dismantling conveyor belts and you're on like a lower level than them, sometimes it feels weird that you're not hitting it. When you're aiming at like small things, you're not exactly hitting them. And in those cases, it feels a lot better. But in most other cases, it just feels like, what's going on? So we're going to see what happens. But hopefully this won't break anything. That's the one thing that we're kind of like, hopefully it won't break anything, because that's the scary thing with doing these changes, where for a long time we didn't do it because we were scared that it would change something, and maybe not even everyone will notice it. But I think you will definitely notice this. So we'll just have to see. So let us know on the QA site when the update is out whether or not you think it's worse or better, essentially. And I think a lot of people, actually, one thing that was also thought was interesting when I was watching the video was a lot of people commented that like, oh, I didn't realize, but now when you pointed it out, now I notice it. So I think it's going to be a pretty interesting change to see people play around with. Right, so we have two more bangers here that we haven't talked about yet in the video. One of which was a very highly requested thing, which is being able to set different fuel types in the Jetpack. Something we've confirmed for a long time that you would be able to do. We just hadn't figured out a good, like, we always knew that we wanted to do this, but we didn't know a good way of doing it. And it's interesting too, because like I haven't been a part of the discussion as to like what we were gonna do until I saw like the video, and then like, whoa, that was definitely not how Mark told me we were gonna do it originally. But I kind of like the way that it kind of shaped up, and I guess that's part of like the iterative process of like changing it and working on things and thinking more about the problem, so to speak. Because originally we thought we were just gonna do like a wheel and just pick the fuel type. But then if you run out of that fuel type, I guess, like what happens then? So it makes sense to have like that list of like prioritized.
Yeah. And I like that it defaults
types
to fuel, and it's not like a power order necessarily, because you would think that maybe the solid biofuel would be the lowest priority, so it should just use that first. But if you're in a specific situation where you really need to fly, actually fuel is probably the easiest fuel to have, and maybe the most reliable as well. So if you're going to have a fallback, it's better to be fuel than solid biofuel. So I think the decision making with the priority list there was good too.
Yeah, definitely. So if you don't know what we're talking about, there's now an option. There's going to be an option in the game where for the Jetpack you can like prioritize fuel types. So you can have like turbo fuel in your Jetpack, and if you run out of that fuel, it will switch to the next one in the list, and so on and so forth. Also, one really nice thing is that all the fuel types, this is something that we talked about before as well, where the fuel types also have different effects on the Jetpack. So like, you're going to remind me again what there were. So it's like regular fuel is the way the Jetpack works
buffed
right
a little
now.
bit. It has a bit more upwards acceleration, so it should feel a little bit more snappy, less sluggish. Solid biofuel burns super quickly, and it's not super good, but you can use it in the early game if you happen to get a Jetpack from Johnny or something. Liquid biofuel burns super slowly and is about as good as the regular fuel, but like burns really slowly. So you can burn for a really long time, and you can just glide forever and go really high. It's actually crazy. Turbo fuel is super fun to play with. It burns really quick, but it has a lot of power. Yeah, I really enjoy flying around with turbo fuel.
Not to mention, there's finally use for liquid biofuel, one of the most useful fuel types in the game. Definitely. I'm curious if like, because you did mention, and I know Mark pointed this out to us as well. It's like I don't necessarily see too many people using this because you can't really fully automate it. But I am curious to see like how many actually will use it.
I think it's so good that it might just be worth it to like manually get that stuff going. Like just go and spend some time getting like whatever biofuel you need, and then just producing it so that you could use, and then you'll be able to use it for quite a while, right? So like I could see that it's that good that it might pay off for people to just like dedicate some time to manually get it going. Yeah.
It feels really useful when you're like falling from a great height and you have like more sort of time to adjust, to like where you want to go. Because I feel like sometimes when you use the regular jetpack and you're like falling, you need to save that little last the last inch for like when you're about to hit the ground so you can save yourself. Like now that like window is way bigger with liquid.
And yet of course guys, you can stick it into containers and then feed that into a system, of course, but you still need to manually go and get the biofuel yourself. It's the same thing that most people do with their solid biofuel. What's it called? Solid biofuel? Yeah, in the early game. Yeah, that people use for power.
Yeah. You can like sort of automate it. You still need to do the gathering. That's the thing that can't be automated. Yeah. All right, last thing to talk about is the gas pillars that can now be destroyed. We did tease this a little bit
Very
in
sneaky,
the teaser video we made for the power trip. Yeah, I was pretty pleased with that one. This was gonna be like one of the first things we were gonna reveal actually, but development happened and kept going back and forth whether we were gonna be able to add this to update 8 or not. But it's actually was supposed to be an update 7, but development happened, like I said, so it's coming now instead. And the reason why we weren't able to blow up gas pillars before was actually a technical reason, because the way the map is set up is like all the gas pillars were like baked into the level, so like you couldn't remove them from the level for a long time. And then we set it up so that okay, the gas pillars are the only part that like out of that is no longer part of like the static level, so it's not baked in. But there's like there's an effect that plays when you're in the gas, which is like you get this like gas effect thingy on filter. That was baked in for the level as well. Those were like gas volumes, and we didn't have a good solution to like get rid of those essentially. So like for a long time we were thinking of having it so like okay, when you blow up gas pillars, that effect would still be there, but you wouldn't actually take damage. And it was like kind of a half implementation, I guess. And then we just opted to be like, nah, we'll wait and fully implement it. And it's pretty dope right now, where you can blow it up and you get like this cool like debris falling off with using the Chaos engine in Unreal Engine 5. And now we've also added, since Jace's video actually, there's also a development on like the VFX for it as well. So now there's a cool debris when rocks hit the ground and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. So now the gas pillars are like completely detached from the level, so we can finally destroy the gas pillars.
Feels good, man.
And I know that we teased that like, oh, maybe we'll be able to like capture the gas or something like that. But I'm pretty sure our intention was always to like just blow it up ish. We just been kind of like red herringing you guys a bit with that. So pretty stoked about that.
Yep. That was a fun video.
If you don't want to,
sorry.
If you don't want to,
we talk to each other.
Yeah. It's hard because we're over the internet. But yeah, it's a fun video and a lot of juicy stuff. So if you haven't seen the video, I will drop it in chat. Boop. And check it out if you want more news. Also, if you want to see these things in action, because there's a lot of B-roll that I didn't show here on stream. Give that a look if you're curious. Look-see. I think it'd make more sense we actually see it in action too. Will destroying the pillars affect performance? Shouldn't affect it too much, honestly. Shouldn't have any effect really. If I'm not mistaken. So yeah, that was the video, and that's State of Dev, y'all.
That was a
girthy. Man, did we really spend 40 minutes?
That was a girthy one.
Yeah. Usually we were able to like bang this out in like 20 minutes, but here we are.
Stalling.
Longer save times. I don't know how much it will affect it actually. Not more than like any other footage.
I don't think so. Like the thing is the number of gas pillars on the. Even if I don't know what the save system is like, but even if we were like manually saving each individual one, like we're probably talking like I don't know what, 50 to 100 or something like that. I mean, that's not going to make or break your save time. If there's going to be delays in your save time, the bottleneck will be elsewhere.
I guess I can also mention really quick too, something we already know at this point, known issue, is that like some of the gas pillars aren't set up in the same manner, and there's so many gas pillars on the map. So we've probably missed. So you might run into issues when you're playing and you're blowing up gas pillars where like the smoke doesn't clear or like something may look weird or something like that. So when you're reporting this on the QA side, please make sure to also report where this happens, because it's probably unique to like specific gas pillars when it happens. But you'll forget that I said that at the point when update 8 comes out, but now it's out there at least. I cleared my conscience.
Some questions that people have asked before as well is, will this make gas masks completely redundant though? I think that's a concern that you guys can bring up with the team. But I guess there's two ways you can sort of deal with things. There is the permanent way with nobelisks, but yeah, there's also gas masks. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, QA
there's
side.
Also like, but I mean, there's also other like creatures that inflict gas upon you. you know, there's the like gas
the
plants you'll still run into, and I guess you can blow those out too. And then there's the spiders that also fart on you, and you can blow those up too, but they're a bit harder to blow up. But I don't know. There might be some like progression thing here where like, you know, you don't get the Noblisk stuff until later in the game, but you do get the gas mask pretty early on.
Yeah, maybe that might need to be reworked. Who knows? But that's why you should definitely go to the QA site, let them know. But I strongly recommend you wait till you get the update before you give this feedback. Like I think it's a fair concern to have now before having the update. That's like fair. But I think it's far, far, far more important to actually get your hands on things first, experience it, and then be like, yeah, this is wrong, and then post it, right? That's way more useful for us, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and another question actually from Hugi. Will we be able to clip catwalks to the power towers just like with some machines? Yes, I think so, because I in one of my while I was messing around playtesting, I was attaching walkways and stuff like that. I can't remember if it was catwalk specifically or whatever, but I did build upon the power tower platform that is already there. So if that's what you're talking about, you can do that.
It should be the same, because like the power towers, as far as like they have the same soft clipping as poles.
But all I know is that the power tower that has
like,
the platform, it's the same kind of stuff when you're building platforms that are snapping to buildings. It's the same thing. You can snap to it.
So I mean, catwalks will still soft clip into like non-soft clipping buildings. So it should work. Trademark.
Shall we?
In theory, at least. It is. Yes, it is that time now.
Announcement, I guess, right?
Yes, we're gonna post a little announcement. I guess. Do you? Is there anything you want to say before?
I think we just roll it, right?
Show this.
Vamonos.
All right. So yeah, vamonos. So we've got a little bit of announcements to make, and we're just gonna roll a little video. All right, so that was an announcement and a half. Probably not what you guys were expecting.
Maybe prefer a release date.
Yeah. But yeah, here we are. Geez, I feel so fucking like... So when I read the script for this video first time, I was like, all right, I've known this for a while, and like, you know, I'm really happy that you're doing what you want to do, because I don't think people should feel like they have like an obligation to, you know, stick around to companies and you know, feel, you know, that obligation has to they have to do it. So I've known this for a while, but it was something when I saw the video first time, I was like, oh man, that's really sinking in.
I feel like I've never edited a video before, but yeah. But yeah, as I said in the video, like my thing is gem balls. It's just look for that anywhere. And it's no secret that Snoot and I also have our own channels that we stream on and things like that. So yeah, you guys can still hang out whenever. But yeah, like we've still got streams before I leave. So my last days will be at TwitchCon in July. That'll literally be my last day. Will be the day I come back from that. So we'll still have some streams between now and then. But next week, like we said, is a national holiday. So I'm not sure if we're gonna have a stream or not. But we'll see how we go, because it would be good to get another. I'd like to get another one in if I can. So we'll see. Yeah, but yeah, obviously.
That's sort of how.
That's obviously, thank you so much for the support, everyone.
That's the state of things.
I don't really know what else to say. I put a lot of work into that script, and I think I said everything that I wanted to say there. Hopefully, it was very clear that I appreciate you all, and really do. Yeah, it's.
Yeah, and I think I speak for the entire community when I say that you are sorely going to be missed. It's you're going to leave a big hole after yourself. Not only because you sort of you've helped build so much of this, and you sort of established the sort of, what's the word, like the concrete foundation of how we do community management at Coffee Stain, but also helped like I've had a lot of fun doing this with you, and it's gonna be.
It has been a lot of fun, and I am I feel bad for, I guess, the pressure it puts on you, but yeah,
I'll manage.
I know you're a very capable person, and I think you're gonna be okay, and obviously y'all will figure it out, I think. So
yeah. But we're definitely gonna miss you for sure.
I have not been able to sleep properly for the past 4 days, freaking out about this. It's I knew it was gonna be hard to communicate, and it's really hard to talk about now. But
But the news is out there now, so it's gonna feel pretty out of thunder from a bright sky or whatever for you guys. That's a fun Swedish expression, I guess. If that makes sense. But But just to clarify, we're like, from our side of view, like we're still gonna keep you guys as informed as usual. We're still gonna keep the YouTube channel rolling as much as we can. Streams may shift a little bit depending on I haven't. The thing for me with this too is like, I've known this for a long time, right? And I've been like, yeah, I can plan. We'll sort this out. It hasn't really dawned on me like what actually impact they will be for me. So we'll sort of take it as it goes, I think. But the goal is like keep going as usual. So like no real change for you guys. The only real change for you guys is that Jace won't be around anymore.
And I think I saw one comment of someone saying like, you're happy for you, as assuming that this was your choice. Just put it out there. It absolutely was my choice. I think if Coffee Stain would have their way, of course they would want me to stay. But yeah, this is my choice for something that I want to do for myself, kind of thing. This part of it absolutely fucking sucks. It's like ripping off the worst band-aid you could imagine. It hurts a lot right now, and it will for a bit. But we'll all move on. It's gonna be okay.
Yep. We'll manage. So yeah, that's sort of that that's sort of how we're gonna leave off.
Yeah, we didn't know if we should have done it earlier or now or whatever, but we didn't know like would we want to keep streaming after this, and I don't know. I'm kind of overwhelmed, and maybe everyone needs to chill, let it soak in. So
yeah. So
who is replacing Jace? We have Marius.
Unless you have
Marius
something,
will be joining. He's going to be taking over from this point on. Yep,
just ship him over. Yeah. Yeah, it's and I saw some people mention this too. Like if you didn't hear the news, was it 2 weeks ago? İlayda is also leaving Coffee Stain as well. So it's just me now. You're alone with. I'm not alone with the room with you. You're alone with the room with me. Yeah, we went from 3 to 1 in 3 weeks. So that's just how it is. So I think we're that's just where we're gonna leave off. You're still gonna see Jace a little bit in videos and in streams from the next couple of weeks. So he's not like gone. So there's still some time, and then let this news sit in a bit, and then we can sort of celebrate more so than be sad. I think is important.
Sorry for the bad news, folks, but I'm glad to have been able to actually do it live as well, and actually be able to talk to you directly as well at the same time. So I think that's nice.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Shall we wrap up, Snoot? Okay.
Yes. So we're gonna head over to Beal Andrew, who's streaming today. It's kind of rare to get to raid him, so we gotta take the opportunity.
Done a lot of things, good and bad, to our game. So, but a great creator, great streamer. So.
For sure. So enjoy the 7 FPS you're gonna be experiencing on this channel.
Give me one moment.
Wait.
Okay, no, never mind. Everything's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, enjoy the 7 FPS, exactly. And
yeah, exactly. And then we'll see what happens next week. I won't be here next week, but maybe Jace will do some kind of thing.
We'll just have to see how it goes, right?
We'll see.
We'll put something on Twitter. Put something on Twitter if we can. Hang on.
And if not, there will be a stream.
It's going up and down.
I think
it's okay. Well, it's back again.
Wait.
Hope it's fine. Anyway, enjoy Andrew's stream, everyone. Thanks for the support and kind words and love hearts and everyone. Really appreciate it. See you guys. Maybe video on Friday this week. We'll see. Maybe stream next week. Definitely stream in 2 weeks. Okay? So, Bye, everyone.